Hey guys, my name is Juan, welcome to Bookish Islander. Today I'm going to talk about the wonderful yet disturbing novel The Handmaid's Tale by Canadian author Margaret Atwood. The Handmaid's Tale was first published in 1985 but has been widely read ever since, and it has become even more famous since its adaptation to TV streaming by Hulu. Margaret Atwood was already famous in Canada by the time this book first came out, but she has since become world famous. Atwood wrote this dystopian tale while living in Germany at a time where the country was divided into two, the capitalistic West Germany and the socialist East Germany. Although we are perhaps now used to thinking of Margaret Atwood as someone who produces science fiction, speculative fiction, dystopian narratives, at the time, she wasn't thought of like that. In fact, this is the first book of those characteristics she ever published. The Handmaid's Tale is set in the future. We don't know exactly when, but we do know that it's set in North America. In the wake of a revolution, the details of which we're not really privy to in the book, we know that the United States Constitution has been suspended and the whole system has been replaced by something else. What replaces the old United States is a theocratic dictatorship. The new country is called the Republic of Gilead. Gilead is a military dictatorship that is run by religious fanatics, and the societal model for Gilead is in the Old Testament. In this new republic, women see their rights dramatically reduced. They're not allowed to handle money, they're not allowed to own property, they're not even allowed to read or write. To make matters worse for women, there is a demographic crisis. We don't know exactly why, but there is widespread infertility in the Republic of Gilead. There is, however, a reduced number of women who are still fertile, and those women are turned into handmaids. Handmaids are charged with producing the children of the commanders of the regime. Obviously, some of the wives of those commanders can have children, so they don't need the services of a handmaid, but most of the wives are infertile. Handmaids also move into the houses of those commanders and their wives. The story here is told by one of those handmaids. Her name is Offred, but that is her new name. We don't actually know her real name, although some readers guessed that it is June, and that's the name that is used on the TV series, but in the book there isn't much evidence that that's her name, and she's never referred to by that name. She's only and exclusively referred to as Offred. The origin of that name is because her commander, the commander that is trying to get her pregnant, is Fred, and because she belongs to him, her name is Offred. The Handmaid's Tale is a first-person narration. Everything we know about Gilead, about the society, about what went on and what is going on at the time of writing, we only know from the point of view of Offred. And her view is very skewed because it is limited to the domestic environment she's been reduced to inhabiting. However, in the course of the narration, Offred also remembers her life before the regime change. So we can see what life was before and more or less what happened to get us to this point. And her own transition from being a free citizen of the United States as we know it now to being a handmaid in Gilead is interesting because at first Offred, well, whatever her name was, June if you like, didn't realize what was going on. The first thing that we know happened to her before becoming a handmaid is that she was fired from her job along with all the other female employees at the firm. Then she couldn't get access to her own funds from her bank account. Gradually, her rights are restricted to the point that she becomes the property of a commander in a society, in an extremely patriarchal society where women have no rights. Of course, in Gilead, not all women are handmaids. There is wide group of legitimate women who are thought as legitimate, and this includes, apart from the handmaids, it also includes the wives, which is the highest social level. These are the wives of the commanders who are in charge of this new militaristic dictatorship. Then you have the daughters of those families. The daughters could be by the handmaids or by the wives. The handmaids have no rights over those children, by the way. They're just there to conceive them and give birth to them, that's all. Then you have the aunts, who are older women in charge of training and brainwashing the handmaids, and we see that through Offred's description. And then we have the Marthas, who are lower class infertile women who are charged with domestic jobs. And finally we have the econo-wives, which are the wives of men in the lower ranks of this militaristic system. So those are the legitimate women. But then we also have a group of illegitimate women. So who are the illegitimate women? There are two groups. One group is called the unwomen, and the other group is called the Jezebels. The unwomen are unmarried, they're not fertile, they are sterile. They include former nuns, lesbians, feminists in general. Anybody, any woman who does not fit into any of the other roles of legitimate women is then grouped as an unwoman. The other group within the illegitimate women are the Jezebels, and Jezebels are prostitutes who are charged with entertaining, and understand entertaining in the widest possible definition, the commanders and their guests in private parties. Jezebels have a role in that society. Although they're excluded from the hierarchy, they do have a very specific role, and in a way, at least how Offred describes them, they're the freest, with a lot of speech marks, women or group of women within this society. But what about the unwomen? Well, the unwomen are often carted off to the colonies. The colonies are highly polluted places in North America, so they're not anywhere where you would want to live. However, there are some rebels who are able to organize themselves there in the colonies, as well as even within Gilead society. What happens to handmaids when they don't have children? Well, handmaids have 3 years to bear children. And if they do not bear children, if they do not get pregnant and the pregnancy goes on according to plan and they deliver a healthy child, and that's important, well, they are then considered unwomen and they're carted off to the colonies as exiles. The hierarchy of women, but also the hierarchy of men within this society, is inspired by the Old Testament of the Bible, as well as all the terminology that Atwood uses to classify each of those groups. So this is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. If you have read this cautionary tale or are interested in doing, please let me know in the comment section down below. Please also subscribe to my channel and feel free to share this video around. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again very soon. Bye bye.